In this video, I'm going to go through the process of creating a citation for a genealogical source using Cite Builder. First of all, I'll show you the basic free version, and then I'll show you the additional features that you can use in the paid premium membership version. So firstly, in the basic version, you can see that you have a number of what we call rule sets. These are collections of rules which define the citation formats. You can see we have them for all manner of different types of genealogical source. The obvious ones that you would expect, like civil births, marriages and deaths, parish registers, church records, censuses, but you can also see that we have some of the more unusual ones that you might encounter in your genealogical research, such as military records, film, video and sound recordings, artifacts and heirlooms, etc. And we're generally adding to these all the time. So the example I'm going to give you is if I was to want to cite a baptism record found in an online copy of a parish register found on ancestry.com. So the general way you would go about this is that you usually start with the type of source it is. So in this case, it's a parish register, and specifically it's a baptism record. Now we come down to a selection of rules. Now what I should say is you can differentiate the rule set. If it has a small arrow at the bottom, it is what we call a rule set, which means that you can basically expand it further. Another thing to point out is you see this small padlock icon on some of the rules. That basically says that they are accessible only to premium users. So let's go and look at baptisms. And we found it online. It wasn't on Family Search, where we have a specific rule. We found it on Ancestry. You can also see we have options here for microfilm in the Family History Library, other microfilms, a transcript on Family Search, etc. But in this case, it's a parish register image. It's online on ancestry.com. What we're now looking at is the citation creation page. We have 3 different styles of citation available. Now these will vary across different rules. Sometimes there's only one style available. Sometimes there could be up to 7 or 8 different styles available. It just really depends on which styles we've been asked to add to which rules and how far we've got through our list. Each style will prompt you for a number of fields, and in a lot of cases they're different. So if, for example, I click on Strathclyde, you can see it asks for a lot less information that is required to create the citation. Similarly, UTAS, slightly more. Evidence explained, it's about the same amount of information, but it's actually different information. If we look at evidence explained, it is asking for the church name. If we look at Strathclyde, actually doesn't ask for the church name, but it does ask for a collection name, which evidence explained doesn't. Generally speaking, you know what style you want to use. You're probably using a particular style consistently throughout your research, but it may be that you need to generate a citation and you only have limited information, in which case you could perhaps pick a style which requires just the information that you have. In this case, I'm going to create one for evidence explained. The other thing to note here is that one field has a dotted red border around it, and that is optional for evidence explained. So if I don't enter it in, doesn't matter, it'll generate the citation without, in this case, the page name or image number. But if I do enter it in, it will be used in the citation. All other fields shown are required. If you don't put something in them, the citation will you will get an error when you create the citation telling you that the field is required. So I'm going to fill this information out now, and because this is the basic version, I have to type this information in, or cut and paste it in from another report, or another file, from a database entry or whatever. Because this is a digital image that I'm citing here, obviously I won't be able to cut and paste that information in from the digital image, so I'm going to have to type it. Later I will show you the additional functions that we have with the premium membership version, which mean that you don't always have to type everything in. Okay, so having entered that information in, I would now simply just click on the Build Citation button. Scroll down, and here you can see the citation is built in Evidence Explained style. We have a first footnote, subsequent footnote, and bibliography. And you can see, just looking at the structure of these citations, how complex it is, how much you need to know, you need to include, and whether you put in commas or full stops or quotes around particular parts of the citation, italics of some parts of the citation, and so on. Very complex. Having done all that, what you can do is you just click on the Copy to Clipboard button, and that is now available in my clipboard. So what I can then do is I can go to, say, my Word document or my Google document, or into my database, or however I'm, whatever I'm doing in terms of recording the history. In this case, it's a Word document. So here we have my text that I've, that I'm writing up the history. There's my footnote. I'm going to scroll down to the footnote, and I'm going to paste in the citation that's been generated by Cite Builder. And you can see it pastes it in with all the formatting and everything preserved. If you were pasting into a database field, for example, which doesn't support rich text, it'll just paste it in without the italics there. But if the document or program that you are pasting into supports the rich text, then it will preserve that formatting, because that's an important part of the citation format or style. So going back here, you can see some other features. If I click through the different styles, you can see that it automatically regenerates the citations in that style. And in this case, because there's an additional field there which is mandatory, it's flagging an error. So if I wanted to use this style instead, I would enter in the collection name and regenerate the style. So let's just say UK parish registers. I mean, I'm not sure if that's correct, but I'll just, for the benefits of the demo, let's enter that in. Click on Build Citation, and now you can see it's got a correct citation built. If I go back to Evidence Explained again, because that field's actually, that collection name is not used, we're back to where we were there. And again, if I click to Strathclyde, it's retained that information. Let's go to UTAS now. It's also asked for the collection name, that's in there. So as I said earlier, you can potentially click between different styles to choose the one which you would which you can create with the information you have. If, for example, you didn't have a collection name, then you could probably put something in, you could use evidence explained, or if you have to use Strathclyde because perhaps that's the style that you're using for everything else, then in that case you might have to put not available or something in the collection name, and it would include it in the citation. While I'm on this screen, if you feel there's something which needs to be changed, or something needs to be added, then you're able to send us a comment about the rule directly. Now let me go to the premium option, and I'm going to go to look at the same rule here. You'll see it looks slightly different in that we have these purple hearts against most of the fields. These are what we call, this means that the field is favoritable. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but favoritable, which means that you can store and use favorite values for that field. So for example, under country, I've already stored these values, so I can pick one. Church name, I've got St Luke's already stored. A place, I've already got Abbots Langley stored. I could type in something else here, or for example, I could actually correct the spelling of that one and add it as a favorite. And that means that when I next time I'm on a church name field, I've got St Luke's there. Baptism dates. This is not particularly a premium feature, but you can different citation styles require different formats and of dates, and you don't have to worry about that. Basically, we ask you to put the date in this fairly standard format, and then we will reformat it into the particular format which is required for the citation. Person name here, I'm going to put in Fred's first name. Surnames is a favoritable field. Now what that means is that you can wherever there is a surname required in any of the other rules, you can use these values. You might have an alternate spelling. Let's put that in and add that as a favorite as well. So that means in any field where it's asked for a surname, you've got access to these names. I'm just going to keep going down through and add in this information. Some of the fields, it doesn't make sense that they're favoritable, but in some cases it absolutely does. I mean, you're constantly going to be going to Ancestry. You're constantly going to want to be putting in the URL there. Now you might extend that URL, I don't know, with some paid, some sort of extra information. Let's say, I mean, I don't even know if that's a valid URL for Ancestry, but you get the idea. You might want to put in a very specific URL directly to the source, or a more generic URL to the website itself. Finally, with premium, you've got these, just a convenience of being able to, I accessed this record today. Right, there's the date. I accessed it yesterday. There's the date. Or I can go in and I can put in, the actual date that I accessed the record if it wasn't one of those two. And you can save as a template as well. So what I would typically do is I'd clear probably half the information out of this, which is specific to this one particular baptism, and I'd save it as a template for parish registers in St Luke's in Hertfordshire on Ancestry. That I will cover in a separate video. So that is how you go and create citations using Cite Builder, from both a basic perspective and the additional functionality that you would find in Premium. Thank you.